get the documents. Like when they're trying to get the Epstein files, like the state of New York, one of the district attorneys was hiding documents that have forced them to give documents. I think there's so many powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trials?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Why?
As you all probably know, Diddy's case ended up leaning more in his favor than most of us ever expected. But that didn't just happen randomly. And if you ask Joe Rogan, the reason behind it is exactly why Diddy might end up walking free after just 12 months. And let me tell you, the reason is honestly pretty disturbing. Now, if you've been tracking this closely, you've definitely seen those headlines flying around. Diddy acquitted of federal charges. Big, bold energy all over the news. But that word, acquitted, doesn't give you the whole picture. There's more beneath the surface. Sure, he was found not guilty on the RICO and ex-trafficking charges, but he still got hit with 2 violations under Mann Act, and that's no minor slap on the wrist. That act deals with taking people across state lines for night business. If you catch my drift, he was found guilty on 2 counts, and by law, he could get up to 10 years for each one. That's 20 years total in federal time. But since those big, heavy charges didn't stick, a lot of folks are assuming he's just going to walk away untouched. But the truth is, a legal victory doesn't mean public memory fades. People haven't forgotten what happened when Cassie dropped those first bombshell accusations. Diddy was quick to jump online, swearing up and down that he was innocent, calling it a cash grab. And surprisingly, some people actually believed him. Celebs like Floyd Mayweather and Slim Thug even came out publicly to defend him.
P. Diddy, because he's still a black man. Mistakes happen, and I can't say if it is or it's not a mistake, but things happen in life.
It's, until you proven guilty in court, we can't, you know what I'm saying? So everybody, we just all throwing our opinions out there.
And that whole defense seemed to hold up for a while, until that hotel footage dropped showing him getting physical with Cassie. The moment that tape surfaced, everything shifted. People stopped believing the version of events Diddy had been pushing. And when he finally admitted any fault, it wasn't out of remorse. It was because he had no other option.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you gotta do that. I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now add that to reality that this isn't happening in some bubble. It's 2025, and people are fed up with watching the rich and powerful walk away clean while everyone else gets burned. So for a lot of folks paying attention, it's not a stretch to think someone with Diddy's influence could dodge real punishment. When you got stacks of money, a dream team of elite attorneys, and a wall of silence protecting you, justice starts looking more like a suggestion than a rule. Joe Rogan and others tied to federal legal circles hinted at something deeper. The verdict might have kept Diddy from spending life behind bars, but it may have thrown him into a whole other kind of long-term nightmare. And here's where things take a turn. Even though he dodged the heaviest charges, Diddy isn't a free man. He's been sitting in Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn since back in September, and he's still there. When July 4th came and went, while the country celebrated independence, Diddy was stuck eating cold lunch meat and fruit punch out of a paper bag in a place some say is crumbling. One prison insider even claimed the BOP is so broke they can't afford toilet paper, and inmates have been ripping up bed sheets just to get by.
July 4th, not to say that Sean Diddy Combs won't have something to celebrate tomorrow, more than a lot of people, maybe even Diddy himself expected. But the fact remains he will spend the 4th of July in the same place he's been every day since he was arrested last September, in the notoriously awful MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn.
Well, right now the BOP is out of money. Some of these facilities, they don't even have money for toilet paper. People are going to think I'm lying about this. Some federal facilities are actually tearing up beds.
Larry Levine, a former federal inmate turned respected prison consultant, laid it out clearly. He explained that MDC isn't designed for long-term federal sentences. It's basically a jail, not a prison. No outdoor time, no work programs, cramped conditions. So while Diddy may have dodged a heavier conviction, he's still stuck serving time in one of the harshest holding facilities in the entire country.
Okay, MDC, it's essentially like a jail, a federal jail, where you're inside all the time. You have housing units. There's a common area. There's cells around the wall. People are coming and going because people are getting charged. People are getting released. You're living in close quarters. You go to a real prison, you're going to be going outside. You may have a job. You know, you're going to be doing things. This place here, it's really a lousy environment. But there's a big question as to where he's going to go. Some people think he's going to go to a minimum security facility, and other people say he's not eligible. And I agree, because
The next major moment comes in October, when his sentencing is scheduled, unless it gets pushed up. But even then, the judge is allowed discretion to tack on extra years through something known as relevant conduct. And this part is critical. Even if a jury found him not guilty on certain charges, the judge can still factor that same behavior into the final sentencing. If the judge personally believes Diddy committed the actions he was accused of, despite no conviction, he's allowed to use that as a reason to increase the sentence.
Here's something nobody's pointed out. That judge can hit him what's called relevant conduct, where they could actually sentence and enhance him for things that he either was acquitted of, found not guilty of, based on the conduct of what he did. So he may get more.
And let's not pretend this is all just theoretical. Court filings already show that federal prosecutors labeled Diddy's actions as a serious crime, and that alone could change where he ends up doing time. It could completely take minimum security off the table. That's exactly what Larry meant when he said, "Some people think Diddy will get it easy," but he doesn't see it that way. Crimes come with a heavy stigma, even inside prison walls. So any shot at minimum security is likely gone, and that opens the door to a much harsher kind of reality.
There's a big question as to where he's going to go. Some people think he's going to go to a minimum security facility, and other people say he's not eligible, and I agree, because it's a crime.
Prosecutors, they said in their filing yesterday that it's a crime of... We'll see how it goes down when it goes to...
Even though Diddy has already spent over 9 months behind bars, this kind of transition doesn't go unnoticed. He's lost his freedom, his privacy, and to a degree his public image when he eventually enters a federal facility as a convicted man. No matter how technical the charge, he's not walking in like royalty. Now, sure, Larry did point out something else. Celebrity status still carries weight behind bars. A high-profile name like Diddy will definitely attract attention. Some will approach out of curiosity, others out of ambition. Larry even joked that everybody started bad boy records on the inside. Inmates will pretend they knew him, that they were tied to the label. Some will try to get close, hoping he'll send money to their commissary or hook them up when they're released.
You know what? He was acquitted on some charges.
Yeah.
People win. I mean, on multiple counts, people sometimes get things dismissed all the time. Fact is, he's no better than anyone else. He's a convicted felon. But what he's going to face is all these people are going to be up to him because of who he is, and thinking that he could do something to further their career. You don't know how many people I met on the inside that all said they started bad boy records, death row records. Everybody started death row records.
But there's a clear limit to that kind of admiration. Inmates might accept a celebrity, but they don't respect the kind of crimes he's linked to. That puts Diddy in a weird and uneasy spot. A king with no crown. Not exactly despised, but not truly respected either. Just constantly observed. Every step, every word, under a microscope.
He'll be treated like a celebrity, but I don't know if people are going to give him high fives for having crimes. I don't see that. It's not a popular...
And then there's the matter of protection. Larry said he doesn't believe Diddy will need much of it. Most inmates will probably just leave him alone. According to Larry, Diddy is likely to stay close with African-American gang members who may accept him enough to maintain peace around him. Even the prison staff, Simply recognizing who he is might treat him differently because of his fame.
Security, and what would be the level of security for him? Is there any kind of protection?
I believe he'll be just fine when he's in there, and he'll have all the African American gang members hanging out with him, and maybe he'll put money on their books. He's not going to have any problem at all. Nothing. He'll get along just fine. Even the staff will treat.
So what's the bottom line? Diddy is heading into a very unusual outcome. He's not looking at life. He's not facing decades. If everything stays on track, with sentencing guidelines and credit for time served, he could walk out in 12 to 18 months. On the surface, that sounds like freedom, a clean slate. According to multiple legal analysts, Diddy might walk free within months. One expert noted that although the Mann Act carries a possible 10-year maximum sentence, Diddy will likely get time served or something close. His guideline range should land between 15 and 21 months, but that's far from a real win. When you peel back the layers, it gets darker. He's been publicly shamed, exposed in a lie, linked to a video so troubling even his loyal supporters had to step away. He's already spent nearly a year in one of the harshest federal detention centers in the country. And even when he's released, the accusations won't magically disappear. Acquittal doesn't equal innocence. He'll return to a world where his name is stained, where every interview and social media post will tie back to this case. That's the bigger picture Joe Rogan and other realists are pointing to. In the courtroom, he caught a partial break. But in the court of public opinion, his sentence might just be beginning. One commenter wrote, "He'll go right back to his old ways." This gave him more power. "Great job, jury. You've unleashed a monster to harm more victims." Another said, "Can't believe he dodged all that. He created a smokescreen and then vanished through it." So what do you think about this unexpected twist? Drop your thoughts below. We're listening. And if raw truths and bold takes are your thing, stay tuned. The next one's just around the corner.